I'm Chip. Oh, there we go. All right. And over the last few weeks, we've been talking about 50 different strategies for marketing, 50 shades of marketing, if you will. And so Christy and I today wanted to do a top 10 Letterman style on the top 10 ways that each of us perceive as the best way possible to market your business, or at least what works for us. So this is going to be my top 10 and Christy's top 10 ways to market your business in 2021. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump it right off with number 10. Christy, what did you have for your number 10 and why do you have it in 10 spot?
Number 10 is a press release. Because all you have to do is Google press release, put in your business, and then you share it with all newspapers, magazines, TV stations. It is a great way to get free marketing. So that's why I chose it as my number 10, Chip.
And all right. And so for my number 10, I chose building your email list. Christy is obviously way better at this than me, but I do feel like it's a must for a business. If you already have a clientele list, you need to have somewhere organized. You need to have a list with all your clients, all their emails, phone numbers, all the information you can possibly have about them, address, all that stuff. But the email lists are crucial in 2021, in my opinion. They didn't make the top of the list, but they're definitely on my top 10. And Christy, so number 9. What's your number 9?
Number 9, LinkedIn. Like this is, if you're a business to business, handyman business, if you're doing commercial or you're doing property management, or if you're just going after realtors, LinkedIn is the place to be because that's where all business to business are at. So make sure and get on LinkedIn. Link up on LinkedIn.
For sure. LinkedIn is amazing for business to business, no doubt. My number 9, start a podcast. I have personally done this. We're doing this now. It's something that I have had great results from. And I believe that anybody that's willing to speak in front of a camera, or even just into a microphone and willing to give your knowledge and educate their clientele base, I guarantee you the return will be amazing. So yeah, my number 9, definitely start a podcast. I stand behind that one. Number 8, Christy.
Nextdoor. It is a great place to put your business, to have your friends and family, if they live in the same area, mention your business when people say, hey, do you know a handyman? Hey, do you know a maid? Hey, do you know a contractor? Hey, do you know a baker? You're on there and it's amazing. I probably get 5 leads a week from Nextdoor from other people referring us.
Nice. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. I need to get over there on the Nextdoor as well. So that was number 9. Number 8. Oh no, wait, is this my number 8, right? Yeah. My number 8. My number 8 is Be Reachable. I've seen so many businesses these days that are not answering their phone, not emailing back, even showing up to a job and then somehow falling off the grid right afterwards. I hear these war stories all the time from my clients, and I can't help but just, it's so important to be reachable as a business, because if you're not reachable, nobody's going to get to you, but you have to be reachable. So that's why it made my top 10 for sure.
Definitely. That's so important. My number 7, Insta. Get on Instagram, especially if you can take pictures and post it. It's a great way to raise exposure for your business. So I love Instagram. And if your target market is women and millennials, that's where they're at.
For sure. All over the place on Insta. That's where you need to be. And my number 7 is Google Ads. Now, this is for the people that have a little bit more money to play with, but the return on investment, once you have your Google Ads running, is incredible, especially if done correctly. Google wants you to be successful on their platform. Every dollar's spent on Google Ads will be returned well worth it. You just have to be able to sink that little bit of that first big chunk of money that you're kind of nervous about into it, but have that faith, give it a shot. Google Ads is super successful a lot of the time for 90% of businesses, I would say, just off top. So that's my number 7, Google Ads. If you have a website, even a business profile, you can run Google Ads through that profile without a website. So it's crucial.
Yeah, and you said put your hand under the waterfall of Google. That is where you can put your hand under the waterfall of Google. How many searches per minute?
Last time I checked, it was like 72,000 per second.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not doing the math on per minute, but yes, per second.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's
it is.
My number 7 or my number
6.
Sorry, a
You're good.
YouTube channel.
Ooh.
That is a great way, especially if you have a handyman business, to portray what you are doing on the YouTube channel. And you're going, well, Christy, I don't want to teach people to do my trade secrets. Fixing a door, there's no trade secrets. You can Google that stuff and you can find a YouTube channel. What it does is it adds value to your potential customers. And do-it-yourselfers might watch like how to hang a door, and they're going to get in there and they're going to go, I don't really want to do that. So they're going to call you instead of doing it themselves. Now, Chip and I actually hit a major milestone this week. We wanted to get up over a certain amount of subscribers, and we did. Now on to the next level. So a YouTube channel is great. It takes time to grow, though. You don't go on there and get just 1 million views. You have to add value, and then they come back over and over.
Yeah, it only works if you work it. You know, that's like most things, for sure. So my number 6, is Facebook ads. So running ads, boosting your posts on Facebook. The only reason I put this above Google Ads is because it fits people's budgets a lot easier. It's a lot less expensive, and it's a good way to bring immediate money for the minimal money that you have. So if you're in a crunch financially and you can't run Google Ads, or you're just not ready to take that risk in your mind, Facebook ads is a good way to start testing and getting used to targeting people on your ads, because it's the same thing on Google, and you have to figure out how to target these people precisely. And once you figure it out, it's a gold mine just waiting, for you to tap into, for sure. That's my number 6, is Facebook advertisements.
Number 5, we're doing it's a podcast. It's great to go on there and talk about what it is you're doing. If you're in a new handyman business, maybe you go on there and talk about your struggles. Maybe you interview your customers. Maybe you interview other people in service-based businesses. A podcast, number 1, is free on anchor.com. And number 2, you can add value. That's what so many people don't do in the handyman business. They just sell, but you have to add value to your potential customers. So what is it you've got that they want to have, and showcase it either on your YouTube channel or your podcast?
For sure. The podcast, it's on my list too. Starting a podcast is definitely, Christy and I have both seen amazing results from doing this exact thing. So it's definitely a proven strategy for marketing that can bring in new clientele. So my number 5 is Facebook groups. In my mind, being in all the correct Facebook groups and being able to share your post over to those groups is kind of a way to get free Facebook advertisement, because all Facebook advertisement is getting your post in front of other people's feeds. And by getting into these groups, you are now making everybody in that group's feed. So just sharing your post to all these other groups, it's free. This is all free. So this is the equivalent of running Facebook ads if you share it correctly and get it across all the platforms that you can, all the groups that you can, and also know which groups are working. Get in groups and kind of feel them out. Do people actually call off this group, or is this group more for fun or gossip? Every group has its own little mentality, and you got to get in them and figure them out. but Facebook groups are killer these days for marketing. I've received tons of different leads now off of Facebook group I created and ran, and off of other Facebook groups, like just buy, sell, trade groups. They're great.
Number 4 for me is contextual content marketing. So a lot of people go in there and they put up a podcast, or they put up a YouTube, or they do a Facebook ad. They don't think about their customers and what problem it is that you're solving in the area that you're in. So if you have a handyman business in Dallas, Texas, I wouldn't be posting stuff about New York. I would be posting stuff about Dallas, Texas. I would be going and taking pictures of me holding my tool belt and a hammer at Cowboy Stadium. I would do it at the zoo. I would do it at the Arboretum. I'd do it downtown in front of things that are important to your people. Now, Dallas is a really broad area. Let's say that you're wanting to do it for Plano, Texas. Do pictures at the local high school. Do pictures of famous things that are in Plano, Texas. Talk about things that are going on that you're involved in the community, because people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you're in their community, they're a fan.
For sure. And that was my number 11. It almost made my top 10, but it's crucial, man. Contextual content marketing can get you to that next level if done correctly as well. My number 4, social media marketing, all across the board. This is free marketing, shy of paying for advertisements and boosting your posts. This is all free marketing platforms, and they're all amazing in their own way. They all have their target market that you can totally go in and take advantage of if you know how to do it. So social media marketing is something every business should at least be on one of these platforms at the bare minimum.
Yes. My number 3 is coupons. On the back of every one of my business cards, I have a $25 coupon for customers with their first service visit. So coupons can help bring in more customers. Plus, if I ever have a giveaway or a school function with the kids, I give them the coupons. So simple. I have them on hand at all times. It doesn't mean I go out and change a toilet seat for $25. You don't want me doing it, number 1. It would be one of our guys. But there is a minimum on there of $149. So they have to do the minimum to get the $25 off. So it's not that you're giving away free stuff all the time.
Yeah. Just make sure that you're not losing in the deal. That's the number 1 thing is you can't take losses consistently. So don't do it for the coupons. There's a way to do it correctly, like Christy said, where where it's advantageous instead of, negative. So my number 3 is SEO, search engine optimization. It's going to go hand in hand with my number 1, but when you have a website ranked on Google to page 1 for all the right keyword phrases for that niche, that's the equivalent of running free Google ads every day. Because what Google ads does, you're paying them to put you on page 1 of Google. So SEO gets you to page 1 of Google where you own exclusive leads yourself. You don't have to pay for the ads. You're already up there on page 1. There's different ways to do this. The Google My Business profile, you have to be in the top 3. And organically with websites, you have to be in at least the top 10, sometimes 7. So you definitely have to worry about this, and you have to rank and get above your competitors. But once you're there, again, this is the gold mine I was talking about spending a lot of money on earlier in the podcast. You have the equivalent of running Google ads daily, being on page 1 of Google, top or bottom. I've seen websites at the very, very bottom produce amazing leads weekly. You just have to get up there to the right pages where people are looking, because shockingly, and that's sarcastic, a lot of people aren't answering their phones nowadays. Be reachable. And that's how I get the call, being number 9 down on the bottom of page 1. But thank you for not being reachable. But if you were, you would have the money and the job right now. So but yeah, SEO is huge. It's definitely on number 3 for my top 3.
Number 2 for me is networking. I believe that networking can add just a ton to your business. Last year, it added over 6 figures to my business, and I'm well on the way. Oh, in 2021, I've definitely done that. So networking is huge. That's why Chip and I started an educational networking company called Edge, Empower, Develop, Grow, and Educate. So networking is very important. I do say this though with a grain of salt. I was talking to somebody that used to be in a networking event with me the other day, and still the same fake person that I knew many years ago. Be careful of the people in networking. Hook up with people that you know, like, and trust. If somebody you think is fake, don't team up with them. Those fake people never last.
Yeah, and just because you're in a group with a bunch of bad people, so to speak, you can change groups. There's other networking groups. You don't have to stay stuck in something you've already signed up for. You can figure a way out and find more networking groups. Guess what my number 2 is? Networking. And my number 2 is networking also. I mean, that's just how important it is. It's obviously up there in the top 3, and networking, I would say over half of my business has come in through me networking. And that's with all different businesses. You know, it's like they say referrals are 6 times more likely to use you. I think that's the number. Yeah, and that's all networking is growing your referral base, you know, growing fans that actually like your business, like you, and are willing to send you business, and then you do the same for them. But it's like Christy said, I think we always say it's just 1% of people actually work the networking groups correctly. You have to weed them out. You have to find out which ones are going to sit there and talk about their business for an hour and a half and not let you speak, and which ones that are going to get to learn what you're doing while you learn what they're doing and grow together. It's a very fine line, but it's one of those that's definitely worth the risk. You want to get out there and meet new people, especially other business owners, and connect. It's an amazing thing. Networking is a great thing for any business. And now, Christy, what's your number 1?
If I had to give up everything else on my list and I could only use one way to market my business, it would be Facebook. I would use the groups, I would use Messenger, I would use Marketplace, I would use the ads. I would use Facebook. 8 billion people in the world, 4 billion online, 3 billion actively using Facebook every day. In my business, the handyman business, $4.4 billion, that's with a B, $billion trickles down that waterfall. And the majority of it comes from Facebook for me.
I believe it. And all right. And then my number 1, and this is about the same thing. If I could only choose one thing, my number 1 would be a website. I think every business has to have it. It's a must have. It makes you look professional. It's a place for people to go to learn more about you without you being there. Your website constantly is working for you, even while you're not working for yourself. You know, it's always out there doing the same thing. And that's why number 3 for me was SEO, because they go hand in hand. Just putting a website up on Google or on just online doesn't do anything unless it's done correctly and works correctly. I've seen too many beautiful looking websites just have no backbone, have no SEO strength, and don't rank anywhere because Google just can't tell what they do. So they just float in searches. And every now and then you'll find them in a random search that has nothing to do with their niche. You just have to be careful with SEO, both on-site and off-site. But it is a must to have a website in 2021 as a business. People, I've seen it happen with different businesses. When people ask you, oh, you have a business? Well, what's your website? When you say no, they automatically like block you out. You can see that they're like, okay, well, you're not legit. You see it running through their head. Having a website, and even if you're brand new and just getting started, people hear that and they think these guys got their shit together. They've got a good, solid website that's very clean, organized. It has great explanations. I know what they do. Whenever you knock it all down like that, the picture comes into play. You're going to get real exclusive leads that are looking for you, not home advisor style where you're at a bidding war with 5 other companies that are all going to low bid. These are people that know what they want, know they want to use you because they found you and are calling to set it up. That's the number one call you want as a business owner. That's what you want consistently across the board. Obviously, it doesn't happen, but a website on page 1 of Google can get you that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had 10 different, some similar ways to market your business. Now, when you're going out there and you're like, I'm going to go market my business, what should I do? Choose one. Do one today. Do one next week. Now, personally, I love Facebook. I've studied about 1,000 handyman businesses on social media. I found one that has more followers than my handyman business. And theirs is like a group format. It's not really a business page. So Chip and I have been talking and we realized that businesses need help with their Facebook page. This is the way for them to get more businesses to be on this social media. So Chip and I are launching a program on Thursday of this week. Go to www.mcmarketing101.com/101 to get started with our 7 and 7 challenge, where you can get 7 new handyman customers in just 7 days by building a massive following on your Facebook business page. We're going to walk you through it step by step by step, because we believe this is something that most business owners are totally missing out on, is utilizing this Facebook business page that's free, along with groups, marketplace, ads, your personal profile, tons of different ways that you can market your business online. That's why if I had to choose and I had no choice but to market in one place, it's going to be on Facebook, because I can get into that waterfall that comes from Facebook. So join us Thursday at noon. If you don't know how to get started, just go to www.mcmarketing101.com/101 and get started with us, because we want to help you grow your business.
Yeah, for sure. Facebook is an amazing platform and it's a must have. But and make no mistake, man, a business page on Facebook it has its own URL. It's technically a website that can be ranked to page 1 on Google. And if you look through closely at a bunch of different service niches, there are Facebook pages on page 1 of Google for specific niches. So if you're in a low-hanging fruit niche where nobody has websites and you have a Facebook page, people can find you on Google if done correctly. So Facebook does, man, it can cross over that board, cross over the platforms to where it can bring you in money through Google as well as Facebook.
So do you want to read your top 10 list, just like they did on Letterman back in the day?
Yeah, sure. We'll read it. All right. So this is my top 10 list for marketing out of the 50 shades of McMarketing that we went over the last few weeks. My number 10 is email lists. Be sure and bring in those email lists and keep them. Number 9, start a podcast. Get out there. Start it. I think I read something like 95% of podcasts fail because people quit within the first week or two because they second guess themselves and they start overthinking it. And I've done that on one of my podcasts. Make no mistake, it happens. Number 8, be reachable. You have to be reachable. You have to have ways for people to get a hold of you, for one. Make sure you have a phone number that they can click to call on your website. Make sure your phone number is on your Facebook page. All the email, all that stuff. They need to be able to get a hold of you, and you need to be able to access them getting a hold of you. Number 7, Google Ads. If you have the money, run them. Even if you don't have the money, if you have enough money to pay 1 month's worth, do it. You'll see the return on your investment tenfold. Google Ads are incredible. Number 6, Facebook ads. Less expensive and just as productive if done correctly. Now there's a lot more targeting involved in Facebook, but it's a great thing to learn. Start learning how to boost your posts, run ads on Facebook. And then number 5, Facebook groups. This way you can get out to other people's feed for free. This is a way to share your posts across platforms to where people can see it all over that might not see it in your regular feed. Number 4, social media marketing. If you're not on any platform right now, social media, start getting on. If you're on 1, make it 2. If you're on 2, make it 3. Start growing. LinkedIn. There's so many. It doesn't have to be Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There's other ones. Nextdoor. There's tons of other ones. Now, my number 3, SEO, search engine optimization. Get your website ranked to page 1 of Google. There's nothing else I should have to say for that. It's that important. Number 2, networking. Referrals are 6 times more likely to use you than any other client. And all networking is growing your referral base. Get out there, network with other business owners, start making money with other people. And then my number 1, drum roll, website. You have to have a website in 2021. If you're going to run a business, you have to have a website. That's my number 1, sticking with it.
So my top 10 of marketing is 10, a press release, 9, LinkedIn, 8, Nextdoor, 7, Insta, 6, a YouTube channel, 5, a podcast, 4, contextual content marketing, local marketing, 3, coupons, 2, networking, and number 1, Facebook. I have
Killer.
all up Facebook.
For sure. Facebook's amazing. And it's free. Again, you just gotta, it's just one of those things where you got to judge correctly and get out there. But yeah, that's just, and what Christy was saying earlier a little bit, I'm going to touch on that, on how my list is a little different than hers. We're different. Yes, we're similar in a lot of ways. You can obviously see that through our list, but I react differently to my businesses than she does. We have different things we're better at. And that you have to just figure out where you're good at, figure out where, and your target market's different. That's why yours is going to be different than other people's. It's another reason why Christy's is different than mine. I go after things a little different than she does, but we both have successful ways of doing it. And just because mine's different than hers doesn't mean mine is wrong or hers is wrong, because they're both correct for us. And that's all it is. You just figure out what's right for you as a business owner.
Exactly. Consistency is the key with marketing. Pick something and do it over and over and over again. I was talking to somebody last week and I said, you know what? I really like this, but I'd like to do that. And she said, Christy, stop. Do it every day for 30 days before you change it. Thanks. I needed to hear that. Like, I will jump around just like anybody else. That shiny object syndrome that Chip talks about all the time. Consistency is the key with marketing. If you're going to choose a podcast, do it. Yeah. You have to do it for more than 30 days for a podcast, though. Do your YouTube channel, Facebook, post every day, once a day for 30 days. Christy, does that mean on the weekends? Yep. Every day for 30 days to grow your business, and it'll work.
Yeah, for sure. It will. Consistency and repetition. You're going to keep saying the same things over and over again. You're going to keep typing the same things over and over again. It does become redundant, but it is what it is. You got to do it. It works. Why try to change something that works, Christy, anything else to touch on before we sign off this week?
Join us at noon on Thursday for the 7 in 7 challenge. Get 7 new customers in 7 days by building a massive following on your Facebook business page. Get those leads that nobody else is getting except for you.
For sure. All right, guys, this has been another great week with the Edge podcast with Chip and Christy. We love you. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.